Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Let's get crafting. This DIY is super simple. You're going to take one of these plastic Easter baskets and some carrots from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using some fabric in just a bit. You're going to see that, as well as some Dollar Tree rope. I took off the handle, measured about the height of the carrots from the bottom of the basket, and now with my scissors I'm just going to cut off the extra that we don't need. Once you've got that all cut off, you're going to take some burlap fabric and you're going to just glue it onto the bottom of the basket, pulling it as tightly as you can, wrapping it all the way around. And you can see here that I put the handle back on. It has these little teeth on it that allow it to just pop right back onto the basket. Now we're going to take those carrots and we're going to just wrap them all the way around the whole basket. My inspiration for this basket actually came from the Michaels store. They had this basket at their store, and when I saw it, I knew right away I had to dupe this one. It was super expensive at their store, and we're going to make this so affordable using Dollar Tree carrots, their basket, and some rope. Once I had the carrots all the way around, I went ahead and took one of their nautical brown ropes. I untwisted it because there's 3 on each rope that are twisted together, and then I wrapped it around the handle. And then I took another one of the ropes from the Dollar Tree that's not untwisted, and I just coiled that all around on the inside, gluing it all together to make sure it had a nice finished look. Once everything was all coiled and pushed down inside, I used my scissors and cut off the extra that I didn't need and continued to coil it until it was all the way completely finished and you could no longer see the yellow basket. This was the easiest project and the results turned out so stinking cute. What do you all think? Leave a comment down below to let me know if you like it. Today is the DIY Easter challenge, but first I wanted really quickly to announce the winner from the last DIY challenge. I'm doing this new thing that every single month that I host the challenge, I pick my favorite projects of the playlist. My favorite projects are right here, and they were created by Brandy, who is so talented. I was so impressed by her projects. I'm going to link Brandy's channel down below so you can go and check her out. Give her some love, click that subscribe button for her, and let's help her reach 2,000. She's getting so close to it. But for today, it is the Easter DIY challenge. There will be a playlist that is linked down below so you can check out all the other projects of all the other people who have played along. Head on down there and check it out. I promise you will be inspired by all of the beautiful projects everyone has created. For this DIY, I'm going to be taking a trash can from the Dollar Tree and we are going to be manipulating it into a top hat for spring. So what you do is you take it at the middle, towards the bottom some, and you're just going to start pressing it in, squeezing it. This mesh wire bends really easily without having any issues, and you can see that I'm pinching the extra down inside the hat. Once I've got that pinched, I went ahead and squished it one more time, so I kind of have almost like a zigzag in the wire, where it's pinched underneath and then it's brought in a little bit towards the bottom again where the top hat meets the rim. So I'm creating it to not be so tall. If I didn't do this where I pushed it in one more time, it would almost be too tall. So you can see that right there, there's some metal that's pinched zigzag back and forth. Then at the top, I took a round piece of burlap. I cut that and glued that on and pressed it down. And now I'm taking another piece of burlap to go around the side of the top of the hat. And I'm just going to cut off any extra and then glue everything down in place. The trick to make this look high-end is you want to make sure you have as clean a line as possible. And then for the brim of the hat, I've decided to take some of this pretty lace burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And first I'm going to zigzag it back and forth because it's got a wire in it and that's going to make my job so much easier. And then I'm going to take the ribbon and put it on to the rim of the hat. And I'm coming underneath and adding the hot glue like this because this is allowing it to be able to seep down in there and lock everything on. And then one more tip, I came back in with my hot glue and I went underneath each one of the pleats and added a little dot of hot glue to make sure the pleats don't lift up. Now you can still see the wire around that bottom part of the hat. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to take another piece of burlap ribbon. I'm using this teal color, which is really pretty. And then I'm going to come back in with this gingham ribbon. All of these ribbons are from the Dollar Tree except for obviously the tan burlap that I brought in from Joann's. And I wrapped it around a couple times, and I'm using that gingham ribbon to clean up the top of that teal ribbon, because I did have to kind of, pleat it and fold it on there to be able to conceal all of that last of that wire. Now you could definitely leave the wire exposed. I did actually see somebody who was on Pinterest who had the wire exposed, but I did not like the wire exposed. I wanted to cover it up. I thought this was so much prettier, and for $1 with all of these other little supplies here and there, it turned out so pretty. So now I'm coming in on the side and I'm just adding on some florals, and then I'm going to take some of my bead garland that I love so much, and I just coiled that around my finger and stuck that down in there. And then I'm going to add on a really big beautiful gingham bow over towards the back. And then the last finishing touches, because it's for Easter, springtime, I'm going to add in a couple carrots up at the top, and after that it's ready to be displayed somewhere in your home. Now, if you haven't heard and you're brand new to my channel, I actually have 4 channels here on YouTube. And this week I have a whole bunch of new fun videos. I did my first official weigh-in on my health channel, and I'm sharing what I'm eating all this week because I've started my health journey. I also, over on my paper crafting channel, I had a free paper crafting class where I'm sharing 2 layouts and some sketches. And then over on my Heidi Sonboul home, I did a spring haul and a clean with me motivation where I switched all my furniture around. I'd love for you to come by and check out these channels. I will link them down below in my description box so you can get to them easily. For this DIY, I have got a free printable. We're going to use one of these old signs from the fall time. And then I'm also going to be using some of these tongue depressor sticks, some of these wooden dowels, and a couple of these garden tag signs that you all know I love so much here on my channel. So on the back side, I took off the twine and the staples. I also popped off that front side that for the sign had that was sticking off. And then I gave it a coat of Kelly green paint, distressed it with a little bit of white, and now I'm figuring out the sizing of my bird printout and my buckets. Once I had everything all cut and situated on there how I wanted to create a frame around the birds and the pictures that were on these. Now, these little sticks that I'm cutting down, they're from the tongue depressor sticks. I didn't have any more popsicle sticks, and so I needed to create them. I've definitely got to get to the store and go get some more popsicle sticks because I like to use those a lot. But here I am, I'm just creating a little frame after cutting them down because I wanted this to be a really pretty farmhouse decor organizer. So these little buckets can be used to put whatever you want in them. And then the very bottom one, in a minute, you're going to see me add some hooks so you can put your keys on it. I think this is the coolest thing about Dollar Tree DIYs. You can take a whole lot of nonsense and turn it into something really beautiful. So here I am adding on my screws on the bottom one so you can hang up some keys. And then the crates, once I painted them white and added some tags, it just has such a fun, polished farmhouse look to it. I also forgot to mention I stapled on the crates to make sure they don't come off. Then on the back side I finished up with some fabric and a rope to hang it up, and now it's finished to hang up in your home. Now I know that YouTube can be intimidating for a lot of people, so once a week over on Instagram, I host a fun challenge with some friends. Together we host the Dollar Tree DIY Tour, where you can come and share an image. There's a write-up where you'll copy it and put that in the text box, letting people know that you're participating with a hashtag. And then you add your own hashtags on it and post with everybody on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in joining, come on over on Instagram, say hi to me, and I'll direct you in the right place to be able to join the tour. It's so much fun. For this DIY, I have another printable. All of my printables are going to be linked down below that will take you to my website. I have a brand new website that I've been working on secretly, and my printables will be there where you can grab them for free. It doesn't cost anything. You just head over there and grab them there. Now you can see here that I took this sign and I'm using it as a base. I glued in with some E6000 and some hot glue to secure it in place. Once it was in place and I cut out the printable of the Savior, I went ahead and painted the sign all white with 2 coats of white paint. Then I traced on the Savior and I came in with a really dark grayish color and painted him in with 2 different size brushes. While that was drying, I went ahead and made a stain mixture with some black and brown paint. I added in some water to make it more of a stain versus it just being a thick paint. And now I'm coming back in with my white paintbrush and I'm hand painting on He is Risen. This is the easiest project and it has such a pretty impact. Then on the front, once the sign was dried, I added on some more E6000 and some hot glue for a short-term, long-term hold. I'm going to glue that right in the center. And then on the inside of that box, I went ahead and added in some more foam so that I can put in some florals. Now you can put whatever kind of florals in here you want. And once you're all done, it's ready to display for Easter. For this DIY, it is a flip because I picked this up from Hobby Lobby for $1.49. Now I saw this inspiration online on Pinterest and I thought that is so easy and I totally want to make one for spring and for Easter. So I started with painting this little globe white, but here is a total crafter's fail. As I was painting it, the paper started buckling and then I realized, wait a second, I should just take them off and then repaint the globe without the papers on it. So I had to pause for a second. I pulled off these papers because I did not realize that they were just barely even stuck on there, which actually ended up being a great mistake. So now it's actually painted on the ball itself. And then once I painted it white, I distressed it a little bit, not too much. And then I'm coming back on and I'm going to hand paint on For God So Loved the World. And you know that it goes on in the quote in the scriptures, For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son. So I thought that this was a really fun twist on a Easter DIY home decor. I know we're always all trying to find more religious decor for our home. And I just thought this was such a fun one to do for the springtime. So once I was all done hand painting on the words, I went ahead and added on some leaves around the side and it was ready to be displayed for Easter. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun creating all of these Easter themed DIYs. Make sure to check out the links down below in the description box and enjoy the playlist today for the DIY challenge. Thanks so much for stopping by, and until the next episode, bye friends.